This is Susan Wilbanks with blendedinsight.com. I am a holistic and integrative healing arts practitioner, an intuitive, and an energy healer. In this podcast, I share tips, tools, and suggestions that have helped me along my path in hopes of inspiring and helping you along yours. Let's get started with today's podcast topic. Hello, bright soul. Thank you so much for joining me on another podcast. I'm going to start right out with a question, or maybe it's a poll. For those of you who go eat at Texas Roadhouse or you have a Texas Roadhouse near you, how do you prevent yourself from eating too many of those rolls with that darn butter? I know one way to do it is not to eat it at all, which I've done. But once you start, it's kind of hard not to have 2 or 3 rolls. And then, for me anyway, and then once the food comes, you're full. And I read from someone who used to work at Texas Roadhouse that is strategic. They give you the rolls and they take a little while to bring your food because they want you to fill up on the bread so that you leave quicker, because they're usually pretty crowded and they want to get your table, give it to someone else. Anyway, just something I was thinking about because my daughter and her friend of hers, we went to Texas Roadhouse and we were talking about it because he was trying not to eat too many rolls, but he couldn't help himself. And then, my daughter was eating the rolls and then she's like, I know I'm going to fill up on this. I'm like, I know, we know it, but then we do it anyway, which goes back to what I was talking about, embodying the change in another podcast. So I was actually processing and thinking about this, like, wait a minute. I logically know that if I eat a bunch of these rolls, I'm not going to be hungry for my food. But does that stop me? Sometimes it does. But yesterday, it was an Orange Theory day. I was so hungry. And actually, I ate the rolls and I still ate my food. So perhaps I'm just overeating. I don't know. In any case, let's go into the topic for today. Let's talk about signs that you are actually shifting in consciousness, your vibration is shifting, and you're getting closer than you think to that next level. Now, of course, there's probably way more indications, and it could be personal indications for you. I know I have personal indications that Spirit has given me over the years where I know that I'm really close to the next vibration, but I'm going to share some of the big ones that I've noticed over the years in myself and in my clients when a shift is coming. So the first thing is things that once interested you or that you were drawn to, they just don't do it for you anymore. You're not drawn to it anymore. And I noticed this in a huge way. Things that I used to be able to tolerate or enjoy, I just don't enjoy it anymore. So this can be environments, behavior, groups of people. For me, I used to be able to go into really loud, chaotic environments and be around very chaotic people. I can't do that anymore. I can do it in small bursts, but it is not fun for me at all. We went to a baseball game, a couple of weeks ago. I might have shared this, I can't remember, but we went to this baseball game. So a friend of mine really wanted me to go to this baseball game. She's been asking me for years, really, because she does it every year. She gets a group of people and does this thing. And I gave her my word that I would go. And it was on a weeknight, downtown Denver. So many people and all the smells. Here in Denver, marijuana is legal. So it was the stench of weed and people just sucking back liquor and not paying attention to where they're walking and bumping into people and spilling their liquor, and all the food and all the people. And, the seats were really high up, like nosebleed seats. And I was sitting up there like, I'd rather just jump than be here. I don't even want to do this. It's horrible. And it was so unbelievably dense, sticky, gross energy. All the sounds, the noises, the people, the bumping into people in my personal space. It just was not for me. And in previous years, something like that might be fun. I might enjoy the outdoor. I might enjoy the social activity, but it was overstimulation central. Like, I could not wait to leave. And we had to park blocks away and walk. And, it was the crowd of trying to find parking and maneuver the parking. And my daughter was telling me really long stories the whole time, which I love her. We were talking, but she's overstimulating me too because I'm trying to navigate. And I'm like, whoa, Spirit, take me here and now. I don't want to be here anymore. This is not fun for me. But of course, I show up in a very light and positive way, and I don't go around just acting like a grump. But inside, I'm like, this is not for me. So that's just one example. But it can also be like people. There was people that I used to be really close to in childhood. And over the years, I'll go back and visit. And I think to myself, how was I ever friends with you? Not in an ugly way, but we have nothing in common, nothing. The conversation bores me stiff. The way that they move and vibe is completely out of alignment with me. And the things that they want to do, not fun for me. So you might notice that happening as you're shifting into a new vibration. And again, it's not that what they're doing is bad. It's just that we're different and I choose different things. So the other thing is you become really aware of your own thoughts and patterns that aren't serving you anymore. So there's a level of consciousness that drops into where you finally notice when you are doing things that aren't serving you. And this could be self-sabotaging behaviors. It could be just patterns of thinking that you have been going over the years, and all of a sudden it pops up like, wait a minute, that's not true. Why am I doing that to myself? So that is also something that starts to drop in a lot quicker. And part of that is because if you can stop it or notice it as it's happening, you have the opportunity to change it. Because if you're not aware of it, you can't change it. So in order to change something, we have to first become aware of it. And as your vibration is shifting and your consciousness is expanding, you're able to catch those things quicker before they materialize or before you act on them. So the other thing is you want to explore your own beliefs and desires. You kind of disconnect from the collective consciousness or the group think. So I've shared for years that I really resonate with the work of Dr. Mario Martinez, and he has a book called The Mind-Body Code, where you talk about tribal thinking and how centenarians have done certain things, patterns, mental thoughts, behaviors that go against the tribe, and they end up living a lot longer. It's really fascinating work, but you break away from the tribe and you start to think, just because everyone else thinks like that doesn't work for me. And you start to really get in touch with what is going to work for you. The other thing is that things that need to be healed will come up pretty quickly. And a lot of times when you get on this path, I've had this happen to myself and with clients over the years, is that your spiritual growth becomes accelerated. So it seems like everything is happening at once. Sometimes. So it could be something physical in the body that needs to be healed. It could be a past trauma or a past heartbreak that starts to weigh on you really heavy, where you start to feel like, I've got to move through this. I need to heal this. And then those solutions start to drop in, and then it's up to you to follow those solutions. And the reason is because you are moving through these lessons quicker because you are on an accelerated path. This spiritual path is an accelerated one. So what may have taken you 20 years if you weren't on the path may now take you 5. You're going to get there quicker, but that also means moving through the levels quicker. So it might feel like it's harder, but it's not that it's necessarily harder. It's just it's quicker. So I hope that makes sense. The other thing is you might be drawn to connection as opposed to materialism. So I always joke around when people try to impress me this is with my friends, but we're friends, so I'm going to share with you. It's just a joke because I like to laugh and I like to make light of the world, because laughter is medicine, and this is not easy. This is a tough school we're in. Earth school is tough. But when people try to impress me with their belongings and they lead with that, I always say, I'm like Shania Twain. That don't impress me much. That song. Do you remember that song by Shania Twain? I'm not really impressed with that. Yes, I want to be comfortable. Yes, I want to be secure. Yes, I want to be around people that are not stressed by the squeeze of life. They've made good decisions and they're generous and they're in a position to help. All those things are wonderful. But if I don't have a connection, none of those things mean anything. And I am more focused on conscious connection. I want to know about the condition of your soul. I want to be in a circle of people where we feed one another, that we lift each other up, that we keep each other going, because the material things are going to stay here when I leave. But the condition of my soul and the soul connections that I've made, they're going to go with me when the body goes away. So you might find yourself more drawn to, being outside and doing more quiet connection type of activities. So that is also something that tends to come up a lot. Also, having compassion and newfound compassion. Whereas before, when you're disconnected and you might be just exhausted or numbed out, life can start to almost desensitize you when you're just in the pit and you're going through the motions, you're on the hamster wheel and you're exhausted, because I've been there. I'm speaking from experience here. There can be a level of becoming desensitized just to cope. It's a coping mechanism that the ego does to protect us and to keep us focused on survival and moving forward. So it has its place. But as you start to shift in consciousness and vibration, you'll notice that your heart center is more open and you have a lot more compassion. And again, it may not be all at once, but you're going to notice small shifts. Some of these can be drastic and some of them can be very subtle. But the more you become aware of what's going on and the more you become aware of these shifts that are happening, these little changes, the better it can make you feel and the more encouraged it can make you feel as you are moving to the next level. Because we don't want to become weary in well-doing, which is also something that some of us experience because it feels like it's taken a long time and it's hard and we get tired. So I get it. And the other thing I wanted to share is synchronicities. This can come in forms of reoccurring number sequences. It can be songs on the radio. It can be symbols. For me, this is really interesting. So I often will get people that will repeat words to me that I said in prayer, in private time with the Creator. So there could be something that I'm working on doing in my gratitude journal, or it could be just something that I personally want, and those words will get used back to me. So it'll be something very specific, and these people don't have any idea, and they'll use the words back to me, and it'll catch my attention because it's as though the universe, God, the Creator, is saying, we heard you and you are in alignment with that vibration. This is why those words are being repeated back to you. And you might notice it with songs on the radio. You can notice it in dreams. I have very vivid dreams. I do a lot of spiritual work in my dreams. I astral travel, all those things. I know that sounds a little out there, but people will come to me and say, you came to me last night in my dream and you did healing on me. I get that all the time. So when I remember the dream, I know it was a message. So I will usually write the dream down and pay attention because I know that there's something in it. So those are the things I wanted to share. Of course, there are a lot more, but those are the most common. And so the point of this is just to say, keep doing the work. Just because you can't see the end result doesn't mean you aren't making progress toward what you are trying to accomplish. It can be lonely along the extra mile because most people don't want to go the extra mile. But in order to shift, you've got to do the work. So it takes time, it takes consistency of aim and effort, but you'll get there. And God has your back. God, universe, creator, spirit, whatever you want to call it, you're supported and guided. So let's go into a healing. You can uncross your arms and legs, and I will turn the healing on. Okay, and so it is. You can start coming back into your body. Okay, I hoped that helped, and I want to thank you so much for everything that you do, for showing up, for being kind, considerate, for being supportive. I appreciate you from the bottom of my heart, and I want to wish you an amazing week. Take care. Bye bye.